What up?
I think he was commenting on the House of the Dragon. I don't
Oh,
watch
was
House of the
yeah.
Dragon, but how is it woke? I just saw a clip of a black guy getting his head chopped off by a white guy. The reason I said it's woke is because you know what? Maybe I shouldn't say woke. Woke is too strong of a term. It's a lot of simpery drama going on. And I haven't read the books. It's just based off of reviews and what people say, like the changes. But apparently, the night dude that she smashed in the beginning because she couldn't get her uncle. Apparently in the books he said no, I'm not about to do that. But then here he gives in, and now he's just sad
Yeah.
because she don't want him. So now he's like, okay, the queen validates my feelings and doesn't like Rhaenyra as well, or will help me get at her, or I will be her tool to get back at Rhaenyra, some shit like that. So that type of simpery going on. Um, and then for some reason the black dude got to be gay. But again, I wouldn't exactly say woke. It's just some weird
It was.
adaptation. It's a weird
Well,
adaptation.
I guess it's weird also that, and just some guy pointed it out. He said that you can see that there's misogyny, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't like they have a pretty low view of women.
Yes.
If they're misogynistic and they're elitist, why is that they wouldn't be racist on top of that? It's a weird thing not to have, to be misogynistic and elitist but not be racist. Not
Yeah.
that they go hand in hand, that they can't be the others, but the only thing is it's the only black family in the show.
Yeah.
It's not like there are a lot of black people in general in Westeros or the Red Keep, right? So there's only one black family, and it's weird they wouldn't say things about them, saying, "Hey, you don't really even look like us." The Valer like these kind of we should have never messed with y'all Valerians. You know what I'm saying? To get you
Yeah.
halflings. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird that's not addressed, that it's just you look over it. By looking over it, not addressing it, but you're saying that there is definitely misogyny and elitism. It's a weird thing to overlook.
And
You know what I'm saying?
like you saying, like the all of the attention is on the white dudes with the black hair, but nobody's saying like, okay, what about the black people with the white hair? How does
You,
that
you know
work
what?
out?
You know what I'm saying? Like if it was your first day in court, like it's your first day in the courtroom chambers, right? And you don't know none is going on. You see him walking, you be like, "Hey, you know him?
Yeah,
He with us? Oh,
yeah,
he's with us. Okay, all right. But Jimmy, shut up. We'll talk about it later. Okay, don't say anything. All right. It's this
yeah,
whole thing. It's someone's cousin in the family we're not really sure about, but just they're here. Okay, look over it. But and then Jimmy's like, I guess it's just no one told me. It's just I have so many questions. It's they made him like dreadlocks, but I'm like, you just go with full wig, make it a full silken wig, give him that, Chinese man's
yeah.
hair, just extra silky, just
Exactly.
Fabio with it, go all the
Like,
way.
like the black folks. It seems like with the Little Mermaid thing. Anytime when there's a white character turned black, they have to have dreadlocks, but they still take the color of the previous like white character. And then with the like the black dude that got his head chopped off, it's like
Yeah,
he was speaking some real shit. He was like, "Hold on, bro. How you going to tell me, or how can you end my bloodline?" And by him speaking out against it, he get his head chopped off.
it
And
was
then you got
because he was mad. I will say he got what was coming to him because that was mad disrespectful. And I'm saying we
understandable,
can't read the room. We got to read the room on that one.
understandable, but what I'm
Yeah,
saying is he was valid in why do you white man get to tell me that my bloodline ends here and you give what we've worked for my family to these little white kids that
bastard, a little
some of
bastard,
y'all don't even claim. Yeah. So you
bastards.
had him who got his head chopped off for speaking against
The king.
the king, and then you have who is the sea snake, the other black dude who he's like he willingly was like, okay, I know my son gay, I know those ain't his kids, but at least they carry on our name. They don't carry on your blood. He was fine with them not carrying his
He
actual
said it
blood
was, but it was about name.
as long as they got the name. So just
The
weird shit
name.
like that, bro, that I just be like,
but but
man,
I say that they wrote it in because the brother is the one that pushes, and the actual king of Valeria, that's for the tides, isn't like that. He's not necessarily non-committal, but he's like, I'm a seafaring captain, but I don't make waves. That was the point that they were trying to make, is that, hey, look, the the actual sea serpent, he's the one holding this whole thing together. But if he's sick, the queen that never was, is like I need to figure out my next political alignment. My daughters are susceptible to not Rhaenyra, but the queen, because she wants to stake her own claim. So I have to figure out how to make this good for the rest for my kids. While the brother's like, "Yo, this is my time to take over. I want everything," and I understand his feeling of saying, "Hey, it should be passed to me." Only only problem is you can't run again. You can't run up on your boss and
I
say,
under
"I deserve
I
that title."
I understand, but it seems
You see what I'm
like the
saying?
only acceptable blacks are the ones that can be controlled by the white people in charge,
I
which is
I
some
will.
real world shit that we see today. If you a black person
It
with the that ain't saying what we want you to say, then you ain't black no more. You're not useful. So
I would well then that's why I'm saying the issue for
get
me is
your
the
ass
fact
out of
that
here.
it's uh, it's it's what's the name of the show? The precursor of the name of the show. Not House of the Dragon. What's it called?
Game of Thrones
Yes. What's the first word in that?
game.
It's a game. You have to play the game. That's the point.
So
Everyone's playing
you're
a
so
game.
you're
Everyone's
telling me, hold on. So you're telling
yeah.
me that because he spoke out, he was in the wrong for that. I'm saying he was written to speak out. He was
I
written to speak
it,
against and to get
the,
taken out. So I don't care
right.
what happens in the world. I'm talking about how it's being handled, how
That's
it's being written,
but it tells you why
and the
you
color
do
of the characters.
but it also tells you why you're supposed to hold your tongue. I don't know if you read Robert Greene, but he's got several books: 48 Laws of Power, Art of Seduction, Art of War. First rule of the 48 Laws of Power is never outshine the master. Never try to come for that spot. If you wrote to say this is what happens if you do, that's fine. I don't care if the guy was black or white because you told me in the show it's not about him being black or white. Do you see what I'm saying? So the fact that
I hear what you're
that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
You're still validating the consequences when he was written to be that, to do that.
These consequences know no shape or color. They are what rated E for these consequences are rated E for everybody, and they're
and it was
non-binary.
and it was written so that the black dude got took out, and while he was saying, I want my blood to continue. I have no issue with them having black Targaryens, Valerians, whatever. There was a race swap. Like, okay, race swaps are fucking weird, they shouldn't be there. I'm
Right.
saying if it was executed properly, it'll be fine. But I'm noticing the misuse of black characters. That's all I'm saying. But you got
I
emphasis on them, but
okay.
then for representation purposes, you got the black people sprinkled into everywhere else. Like I'm noticing this one black maester or some shit. It's
I saw that.
it's just
Okay,
that I love the
I see what
I
you
love
mean.
the fact
I see what you
I
mean.
love the
Okay.
fact that Damon had a black female and was like, you know what I'm saying? I had this
Missing
one when she
chocolate.
wasn't
You know what I'm
even
saying?
white. She was Latin or some shit, but he was like, I like her more than my white wife. But
Hmm.
then that didn't work out. And then he ended up with the black honey, with the big dragon. I'm like, hey, Damon, I fucks with you even more for that. I like seeing his little kids running around, his little
Hmm.
black girls. But I'm just saying the handling of those, there's an attack on black men that don't say what. I'm
I
just seeing
I
that
s-
in this show.
okay. I just want to make sure. Well, then I want to make sure that I understand you. Are you saying that in doing these race swaps, you have this unintended consequence of the guy that you make the one that speaks out that dies is saying, "Hey, black man, if you don't do this or if you speak out of line or out of turn, you might lose insert thing that you want here." Is that what you're saying? Like, is it unintended
I'm
consequences of the
I
casting and
think,
writing?
and I can't, yes, but I don't know whether or not it's intentional. I'm just paying
Okay,
attention to that. The same way
okay,
I criticize Disney with their race
okay.
swaps and handling of characters like Ariel don't need no man. Now that's been going on with a lot, but also King Valkyrie. It's like as soon as you get this race swap, now this woman has to assume king.
Okay.
She's gay. You know what I'm saying? Just shit like that. The misuse of these race swap black characters make me look at you funny.
Uh okay. So you're saying okay, and I don't want to keep saying so
I
you think so you're saying I
well, I
just want
was
to say that.
just so
Go
what
ahead.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
just saying with the black Valerians, you
Hmm.
have the one brother who's saying, King,
Oh.
you can't tell me
Uh,
that my bloodline stops here. You can't
okay.
tell me that I need to accept these bastards into for the continuation of my line.
Okay.
That's the type of shit I'm talking about. And he gets
Well,
killed for that.
well then to that I say this. doesn't that mean that for having as many black people on that show as they do, which is at least 4 or 5, that there's a diversity of patterns, personalities, and thought processes? Because you have the king of the sea that tried to play the game. He's like, hey, I need to align myself because I'm getting passed over.
Uh-huh.
Now I backed the wrong horse, and now I'm paying the price for that. But you won't see me go after Damon or the king for that. I have to accept my responsibility as king of the as the sea serpent, right?
Mm-hmm.
His nephew, although he actually is a serviceable fighter and a commander in his own right, just happens to be gay, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
on top of that, his uncle is power hungry but doesn't know how to play the game. I see that's
Mm-hmm.
the diversity of thought within the characters you casted instead of making them all black, militant, and gay. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what I see. I know where you're coming from, but I say that for all the black characters that you've given me enough to say, okay, I can see how you might have one that's gay. You have one that's like, hey, look, I'm not as passive as the king. However, I can't make these waves. Do you know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
really wish my wife was queen. I feel that it was stolen from her, but I'm not going to back a rebellion. It's going to be more clandestine than that. Just happens to be that I overplayed what I thought was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's where I think it
Uh
was going. Go ahead.
you're saying the diversity of thought, like the different types of black people, but what did we just say with the sea snake and his son? They're
Mhm.
fine with their bloodline not continuing on as the name. They're worried about the name, which is mostly attached to white characters, not exactly black, that were thrown in. So you have those two, and then you got the one brother who says, no, I'm not with it. I want my actual blood to continue. And he gets his head chopped off. Now, the sea snake, he did show some opposition or show that he wasn't cool. He wasn't happy with the results of with the king saying, I'm not going to marry your daughter. But he's been like, help me figure it out. What made him chill out on the whole Game of Thrones thing and be like, okay, I accept my position?
Because the what's his name? Because Damon married his daughter.
No, I
Um,
think it was actually Rhaenyra because
oh,
Rhaenyra,
I'm
the
sorry. No,
king
no, I'm sorry.
said,
Yeah, Rhaenyra married his son. He knew
right.
he was like, well, hey, I know my son is gay, and I'm not sure how this kids thing is going to be, but I need the name to pass on to whomever those kids are. And that would have put him in direct conflict with his own brother. That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Because his brother's like, I don't care. Them kids look nothing like my line of people.
So he was in
They're
conflict with his brother from the beginning when Damon had
yeah,
that whole
and
little war
that's but
that
and
going
that's what
on.
and that's what I'm saying. And you know that within our own community, there's always a person that's saying, "Hey, the game has no respect for color, gender, identity, or where you are in life. It's all about
The
how you
game
play the
doesn't.
game."
The game doesn't. But
Right.
the writing shows me a
I
whole nother layer to this that's weird by the misuse
uh,
of these characters. The same way I'm looking at this, I just compared it to the Disney Marvel thing with King Valkyrie. I'm gonna take it to
okay.
Red Dead Redemption 2. I know
Okay.
you haven't played it, but there's a king in there. Lenny, I
Mhm.
mean a king. There's a character in there, a black character. Lenny, he's the only pure black character, and he's innocent, he's naive, and he just gets coddled by the rest of the game, who is mostly white. Um, but it's like he's a good guy. Lenny can do no wrong. But then you have the other guy who's half black, half Native American, and he's the badass. So I'm like, okay, you're trying to not be racist by having the black guy be the actually morally good one in the group.
Mhm.
He's just kind of thrown in with all these like badass white dudes. But it's like the badass who's I guess the actual equality amongst the group, strong men, generals who's handling shit, getting shit done, who will kill whoever they need to. He has to be mixed race. So again, it's just like I'm not gonna say I'm looking into stuff deeper than what I should, but I do pay attention to the use or misuse
Okay.
of not even black characters, minority characters. Like just like how we've been critiquing fucking how they handling Mexicans in Wakanda forever. It's like, bro,
Okay.
people.
I see okay. I see. There's subtle things that you can put in, and it's like it's weird because you're like he the only person that actually talked out of turn like that happens to be black is the one that pays for it.
The only one, yes.
Okay, I
And
see what you're saying.
but you have and think of how many times, because the sea snake, when he spoke out, the king was like, hold on, bro, chill out. And then he was like, my bad, king. He probably didn't say it, but he backed down. He submitted. Whereas this one who kept going, head gets chopped off. What else could have happened in that moment? I'm like, you could have written some other shit to where he didn't just
I
get his head chopped off and he kept on
I
fighting later on. It
I
was
don't see any
cool.
way around that,
It
bro.
was cool. It was, but still, I'm there. Motherfucker, a dragon could have came through the window.
No,
I'm just playing. I'm just being funny, but
I
it's Game of
I
Thrones, bro. Shit is unexpected. Anything could have happened in that
yeah,
moment because nobody knew what was gonna happen.
right.
Everybody was like, "Oh shit!" And then you just see Damon like a fucking phantom pop up and cut his head off, and
Yeah,
it's
I
like, okay,
mean,
well,
go ahead.
something else could have happened in that moment.
I think that's as far as it was gonna go because he let him go. He let him keep talking, but then he embarrassed his grandkids in front
Yeah.
of his wife, and it's like, bro,
Now he
you
embarrassed the
know, then
daughter. He said she's a
well,
whore.
right? You call you call my daughter a hoe, and you called my grandsons bastards. I'm already dying anyway, and I've had it up to
Mhm.
here. You saw me struggle just to get and sit on this iron throne, and you go come at me with that. I was like, he's like, put a little dagger. I will stab you. And then Damon's like, you know what? I'm gonna cut the head off.
You
It's a
know
wrap.
what? He could have
But
just been in prison
ain't
and
no way.
escaped later on.
Ain't no way. There,
Nah, you can't. Nah,
okay.
they would have grabbed his
There's no way.
ass and say, "All right, you a traitor."
Mm-mm.
To the wall. To the wall. You remember the wall?
No. Mm-mm.
The one
No.
that Viserys
He
said, "What
had.
would you have
Did
me to
he?
do? Send Damon to
Did
the wall?" So the wall
did
is a
the
thing.
uncle?
The wall is a
Did the
consequence.
did the uncle have any children?
I
No.
don't think so. I don't know.
Right. So a man talking out of turn with no children, and he's assuming that the sea serpent is still alive. He might be dying, and my cousin knows like, hey, you know when he's out of line. Even my own cousin's like, what are you doing? Like, nah, I'll have your tongue for what you said, and Damon took the rest of his head off. I mean, that's
Okay,
to me.
but we
I say it's
was
fair. It's just I understand what you're saying about optically looking bad. Do you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But again, they made it so that consequences don't care about race, gender, or ethnicity in this one.
I I hear you,
If you talk
but
out of line,
consequences do not have to be the end all be all. It does not have to assume death. You could have imprisoned this dude. You could have put him in regular jail, or like I said,
mm-mm,
you could have put his ass on the wall.
bro.
It didn't
I will
have
tell,
to
I
immediately be death.
sir, I will tell you this.
All right,
I
problematic
work.
black man, get him out of
Nah,
here.
nah. When I used to work in nursing homes, bro. I used to work in, and when you get to the end, it starts to mess with your brain and your personality. They said, hey, he was fine, and now that he's on hospice, he's completely hostile, short tempered, and he will throw hands at a moment's notice. And so, with him knowing he's dying, this is the last stand that I have, and I haven't done anything remotely in terms of action to actually show that I care about my family because I've been so passive. This man is a perfect opportunity to take that out of me. And I know how that looks the when I just said it. You get
He
what I'm saying?
didn't,
That it has to be the black guy that catches the end of his wrath. But I understand that, hey, in the mind of the king, this is the last thing that I can do in front of my family to show that wow, you know what? I really do care. I want this family to succeed, and I'm going
but
to
he
cut down
didn't do
anyone that tries to talk
nothing.
about it.
He pulled out a knife and did nothing with it. Damon
That's
behind them killed them. How about
right,
character development for Damon in that moment, showing that okay, he's just not no unhinged ass off the cuff aggressive I'm gonna kill you type person, because we saw him doing that before. How about he actually speaks or stands by his brother and was like, nah, bro, I can handle this. And then you hear Damon coming with some politics and then like take this dude away or send him to the wall. Like I said, he could have had a consequence for speaking out, but then you could have built him up as a fucking character later on to where, okay, now he's coming for the throne. Now he didn't
bro.
something. Actually make
No,
him play the game as opposed to saying, oh, okay, because you fucked up, we gonna kill you. Now you
but
out of here.
that's right,
Again,
but that's not
the
the
black
character
dude
though.
who ain't
That's
towing
not
the
the
line.
character. I I
What you
see
mean
how
that's not the character?
but that's not the character. Damon is the one that goes half cuffed, and the actual king has always been diplomatic. And so, hey,
Damon
put this,
Damon
this,
is
the,
Damon is not
hmm?
the dude who we would see pick up a crown and put it on his brother head or like
That's what I'm
doing
saying.
shit like that.
That's why it's so
But
important.
he did that.
This is a family reunion where we're trying to squash our beefs. And now while we're trying to set that up, this dude, like, bro, you talk about the whole family. We know we got you airing out all of our laundry, bro.
Bro,
Like,
then
get
just
this man.
take him away. That's all I'm saying. All right, but we on there for
Okay.
too long. We on there for too long. Let me address the
Okay.
chat. Let me
Sorry,
see
guys.
what they
Sorry,
had to
sorry.
say. Looking like Holly Berry and X-Men.
Agree with the wigs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, saying they should look like she still had her silky
Yeah.
straight white hair. Yeah, yeah. The evidence that her kids don't belong to the black husband is not that they're white kids, but that their hair isn't the right color. Uh I hear you, but Damon's kids are black. So, but I feel you though. I feel you. It's specifically they focused on the hair. Um,
Yeah.
he can't keep his tongue. Oh, he can
He
keep his
said,
tongue. Yeah, Damien
yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
AJ, I think you're giving the writers too much credit. They didn't think that much into it, bro. Maybe.
Perhaps.
It's worse when it's accidental because people will tell you it's not happening. Um, That's a good point too. Y'all, I look deep into this stuff because I also learned this from art school. Being a visual artist, no move is made without without a point or trying to evoke some type of emotion. Like sometimes you can do some shit on accident, but when I'm saying again misuse of these characters, these colored characters in particular, I just look at it weird. Except women, the world has issues with or these. I don't want to put labels. I see more issues with black men that speak out as opposed to black women or black people who just say what they should be saying by the political party or ideology in charge. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. I'm not smart, but again,
You
it's
are, sir.
specifically the black men. The black women are just here and they're powerful. Like Damon's wife had the biggest dragon. I don't know if that character actually has the biggest dragon in the book. Um, but it's not really the black women that play a big part in this show. It's the black men and seeing how they're handled. The little black girls though, they put hands on their uncles, cousins, little kids fighting. That was entertaining. It sounds like they was being fair with the characters, in my opinion.
That's what I
Hey,
thought. Yeah.
y'all can have it. Y'all can have it. It would have looked worse if that black man got his tongue cut out by a bunch of white people.
That that
I don't think so because then it shows okay, y'all some assholes for cutting his tongue out. But then it's like there's no black and white in war. So then it's like, okay, well, nah, dude shouldn't have said nothing. But then, okay, if he got his tongue cut out, that was a punishment. Again, it's not the end all be all. You're not dead. He still can come back as a badass character later on, which Game of Thrones did. You would see characters kind of grow outside of the main story and come back and be threats. Haven't watched any online news streaming show. All my info is from Neurotics. Agreed. All I do is watch YouTubers. This is Game of Thrones, bro. I hear you. Hell, what AJ doesn't understand is the timeline in which this is in, and he completely disrespected family and blood. You are dead off tops. Nah. How
yeah.
many other
That's
people have disrespected family? You had the dudes who spoke out at the table about Damon, saying that he shouldn't have been allowed all of the leeway that he's been given. His ass didn't die.
because
You
that's straight up nepotism, sir. I'm saying if you talk, hey, you talked about my brother's proclivities, but all you said was, hey, he should have these privileges. Like, hey, what do you want me to do? I made him like the knight's guard. I can't send my own brother to the wall. Like, I know that he has proclivities, but he ain't killed nobody. He ain't talked outside of turn. I done told him to go back to his more matronly wife, but he don't want to do it. He's another grown man, and he's got his selection of women. So what you want me to do? But he called his own wife. He called him. He called his wife a hoe. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
bro,
I
just
told. I,
because okay, so
mm,
I'm gonna say this: if you really want somebody to suffer for what they did, make them suffer. You don't just kill him because then he suffered nothing. He's just dead. beat the hell out of him, cut his tongue out, give him
Nah,
some consequences that he has to live with. And the Game of Thrones, the story brings him back out of his own will to come out of this.
I don't know.
All right, all
I
right,
don't.
all right, all right.
I'm like, nah. I think it's fair in giving him that death, resulting in death. I'm okay
It
with
was a
that.
cool
Because
scene. We like
that
Damon.
was cool.
Damon saying he can
Yeah,
keep his tongue. That was dope. But I was like, damn, bro. Damn.
I got you.
What up, A2D2? Glad
You
you up in here. Yup, yup. Black women characters don't get it until they come for a white girl spot. Um, and I'm not even opposed to the who is the queen that never was or
never was.
something.
Yeah,
Like I like her. I like the mixed race. I like to see Damon with the because he seemed like he actually cared about what's her name, Lena or some shit like.
yeah. He did care about her.
Yeah, it's like they're there, and some of them are handled well. It's specifically the black men that I'm seeing. It's kind of rubbing me wrong. See, y'all, this is turning into the House of the Dragon.
We did not intend to go that way, but that's what it's
Okay,
morphed into. I mean, that's like I said, from what I've watched, it's just it made it seem that for the time frame you've given me, and just saying, hey, they're black, let's look past it. Then, well, no matter who you are, if you speak out at the king and talk about his daughter and another man's wife, and you don't really got no backers like that, you pulled up into what you knew was going to be enemy territory by saying this. You said, "Damn all that! I'm gonna say what I want to say. I don't really care about the consequences." And I say it from a meme. The gap between fucking around and finding out got dramatically close.
okay, because I'm trying to think. I'm like, who actually has spoken out against this stuff? The Hand of the King. He the one who presented the information. And the Game of Thrones, I know I was thinking, damn, bro, you can die for telling the king his son, I mean his daughter, just just gave up her flower like that. And he was able to, what the king say, bro, just gone. You're fired.
That's it, because that's his best friend.
I don't give a damn. That's
That's
not his best
stop.
friend. That's just the
That
dude who
is
been there.
that
No,
it
he
new.
said
That
he
is
said
one of
you
his
served
best
my
friends.
father. He said you served my father, and everything you've done, I believe you've done for the realm is worked out. So I allowed you to keep your position. Viserys said, okay, now I'm thinking how much of this has been for your own selfish gain. I'm pretty sure there's more people that we can think
But
of that have spoke
that's
out,
it's still an
but
appeasement because
oh
that's his
my
wife's.
goodness.
It's his
It
closest
would have
friend.
been an appeasement to
cl-
send dude to the wall as
It's
opposed to
his
killing
wife's.
him.
It's his wife's closest. It's his wife's father and his closest friend. And he said, "Hey, look, I'm just letting you know. This is what I said. It's coming from me, your boy. I'm letting you know. This is what I heard. You're sadly mistaken. Daddy, why is that man talking about my life like that? Hey, look, honey, like he said he saw some stuff and then he didn't. No. Well then, hey, you need to get rid of him. Fine, like, but that's my closest friend and my wife's dad. So look, I can just strip you of your position. Just leave me alone. Let it be what it is. You've got to go to appease both my daughter, my wife, and you and myself, so that it's not really a conflict anymore. This is the best that I can come up with, which makes it more of a thing when a guy that you don't know, you don't like, who's always been power hungry, calls your daughter a hoe, and she's calling your grandsons bastards when you're trying to iron your things out before you die. I was like, and I don't like you. Man, come get this dagger, bro. That's what I'm
When did,
saying.
when did Viserys ever say that he did not like this dude? Now I can see with
Hmm.
that point, I can see how Damon, because Damon didn't even know. Remember when they was having the issue with fighting the Crab King or whatever dude was? It was Corlys and the brother who was having a dispute, and he was like, "I'm not gonna let you cause
Cornroless.
a
Yeah.
mutiny." So Damon didn't even hear that conversation, but he knew something was going on. Now there could have been some stuff off screen or in the book that Damon felt like, "Hey, bro, I don't like you. Any opportunity I get, I'm gonna kill you." But at the same time, this black dude has not spoken out or shown to be a problem, especially a continued problem that we need to go on and take out right now. Uh, for something he might do in the future.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. It's just everybody got an uncle that says stuff out of turn. And you're like, I know we're in front of family, but like, hey, you can't just be running up on someone you don't really know like that and just assume that they're going to be passive on the issue and then directly insult their entire line. That's all I'm saying, and that's the consequence. Like,
Now,
look, if his own son got his eye taken, and he's like, "Yo, we got to stop this infighting amongst my immediate family because you guys are going to be the house that holds things down." And now this guy, this outsider, that's technically a cousin-in-law that has nothing really going for him, that just wants power and is saying, "I'm going to take what I want in front of my family, and I'm about to die." He leaves him with no choice.
he
And
didn't
again,
say
Damon,
he didn't. I
what?
don't recall him saying he was going to take what he wanted. I recall him saying, again, speaking on the you're not going to tell me my bloodline stops here, but he was trying to assert his claim or prove his claim to Driftmark. But no, I feel he didn't have no backers or anybody backing him up, because even
Right.
his own cousin-in-law, sister-in-law, was, she came out and was like, "Nah, we back Rhaenyra's claim and whatever." So she had her own thing going on. She didn't like the brother-in-law anyway. Like, I get what y'all saying, but okay, I'm gonna say this because I just gave you a few examples. You could have cut his tongue out. You could have imprisoned him. You could have put him on the wall. Are we going to simply allow, well, he disrespected the king, and let that just be the reasoning, as opposed to, again, handling that situation so many other ways? So it's like, because he disrespected
Mm-mm.
the king and nobody likes him, nobody's backing him up, he deserves death. Whereas
But
other people disrespect the king, other people have disproven Rhaenyra's claim to the throne. They didn't get death. It was just like, shoo, shoo.
But
Speak no more of
those
this.
and it's like they're speaking of rumors. No one, they said, "Hey, it goes back to tact." It's saying, "Hey, look, King, you know me. I've been, close to you on so many issues. I'm just telling you what the people are saying. I'm not saying it directly. I'm telling you what I'm hearing outside. And I know that
Yeah.
this could be a problem down the line." And so even though that Viserys has been dying since episode 1, he's like, "Nah, look, hey, look, I won't talk about this anymore. I won't talk about this anymore. I don't want to talk about this anymore." Now he's up to the point where he's at death's door. It's knocking. And he's saying, "Well, hey, I don't want to hear about this anyway, and I need everyone to come together. Hey, look, for me, like my dying wish is that you guys all get together and still learn to live as a family." And when I'm trying to actually iron that out, here comes someone seemingly out of nowhere, like it's WWE, and we've got our own wrestling match going on, and someone, it's like, "It's Sting," coming down from the Raptors, talking all this junk while I'm trying to iron out my family issues. Like, I told you stop talking. I said stop. Do not say what I think you're about to say. He said it, and then he went further and said, on top of that, your daughter's a hoe. Cause my nephew, we all know what his life is like. That's what I'm. And you, after that, you're just like, nah, get out of here. I'm gonna stab you.
Look, man, I hear y'all. I hear
I know
y'all
we're gonna
justification.
circle the drain on this. We're gonna
We're
circle the
gonna
drain on
circle
it,
it.
but yeah,
You could have written a way to where he got consequences, but he didn't have to die. Hell, his ass could have ran and jumped out a window, and somebody picked him up on a dragon or some shit. I'm just saying, like, they could have easily written anything different from that.
so like just run up. You haven't seen the last of me.
Exactly.
You stupid.
Exactly.
You stupid.
Exactly. I'm talking about just run.
You haven't seen the last of me,
And then you like,
man.
what the fuck is wrong with him? Bro, it's unhinged as hell. And then you just say, get picked up. Oh yeah, I would have been like, it's
Oh
getting
God.
spicy now.